Now, in the formation of the comparative and superlative degree, let us look at rule number 2. The rule number 2 says when the positive, when it ends in E, only R and ST are added to form comparative and superlative. As I told you, you do not need to remember the rules. As you read along, write along, it will come correctly. So we need to read a lot. So we are going to look at rule number 2. Rule number 2. The rule number 2 says when the positives, when the positive ends, when the positive ends in, when the positive ends in E, when it ends in E, what happens? Only ends in E, only R. And ST. When it ends in E, R and ST are added. R and ST. R and ST are added to the comparative and the superlative to form. Are added to form the comparative and superlative. Okay, that's what we are going to do. Now, you have positive, comparative, superlative. Okay, positive, comparative, superlative. Now, we put them into boxes so we can look clearly. What are we doing? And superlative. Okay, now what did we say? When the positive ends in E, R and ST are added. R and ST added to comparative and superlative to form the spellings correctly. Okay, now let's look at the first one I have here is able. First, able, brave, able, brave, all ends in E. Fine. All ends in E. Noble. True. And finally, we have wise. All the positive are ending in E. That's what we need to look at. When the positives ends in E, what we need to do? To form the comparative to one, we add R. So now, able. So first, able, brave, fine, noble, true, and wise. Okay, now to form the superlative, we add E, able, abler. R, only R is added to form the abler, braver, finer, nobler, truer, and wiser. Okay, now let's look at the formation of superlative in one. Able, brave, fine, noble, true, and finally wise. How do we form? We form the superlative by adding st. So, ablest. You just add st. Bravest, st. Finest, noblest, truest, and finally wisest. We form the superlative by adding st. Now, the second rule says when the positive ends in e, the comparative is formed by adding r, and the superlative is formed by adding st. Okay, now let's look at the whole thing and read it aloud. Positive, able, abler, ablest. Brave, braver, bravest. Fine, finer, finest. Noble, nobler, noblest. True, truer, truest. Wise, wiser, wisest. We learned the rule number 2 in forming the comparative. If the positive ends in a E, we add R to form the comparative and we add ST to form the superlative. That is rule number 2. So now we know how rule number 2 goes in the 3 degrees of comparison of adjectives.